Welcome back to the Ref Show. We're heading north of the border to Scotland now. That's uncharted territory, Keith and David, isn't it? It's about time we did an Old Firm derby, isn't it?
Yeah.
Celtic won, Rangers won. Anyway, and Bobby Madden was the, fortunate referee to be in charge of this?
I think it must be a game that all referees want that's in Scotland, but with it comes a lot of baggage. We've had referees in the past that, following perhaps an uneven performance, have been either stones through windows, those sort of things, because they live in that sort of bubble. But the other side of it, Alan, is that, these guys are refereeing week in, week out in front of, say, 10,000, 12,000, and all of a sudden they're thrust into this amphitheatre, which must be a great shock to the system. But they all come through it and survive.
It's a cup final,
just about.
It's like going into a cup final. That's the biggest game in Scotland.
It doesn't matter that Celtic are out of sight for the title and Rangers languishing behind. It's nothing to do with league position or anything like that, is it?
No, absolutely not.
It's to do with bragging rights, as they say, and in Glasgow. And here, lots of talking points, because late equaliser for Rangers, brilliant that they got a point, Clint Hill. And he was also involved in a later incident when, according to our man Guy Beale, who blocked it on RefCam, Hill just chopped down Lee Griffiths. Should have been a penalty to Celtic right at the end of the game. But the referee had a really good game up to then.
I watched not all of it and thought he was doing extremely well. Even-handed, good man management with the players, even-handed, all those sort of things that you want out of a referee. I mean, you've got to remain calm in an atmosphere like that. But I also detected that, frankly, Alan, the game's slower. And that gives the referee a bit more time. When it comes to the big call, and Guy has called it as a penalty, and I'd go 100% with Guy. If he flagged for me and said it's a penalty, it's a penalty. So it is a penalty kick, not awarded. And it's sad that, because the referee who's put in a good shift has come out of the game, and this morning that'll be the talk.
That's a pity.
I mean, slightly, whether he was in the right position, a little bit behind people. Seeing a ball go out, that's a description of it. Has he seen it as he's got the foot on the ball before he's caught the man?
But late in these games, frenetic, it does get very stretched, doesn't it? Referees
it's a big call.
That's a fact, and the reality is that pace will kill you, and you've got to have a bit of luck. And clearly, luck has departed him on this one, which is really sad, because I think that he would have come out, and I think the guys in charge of refereeing up there, Fleming, would have been very happy with his man.
Yeah.
Because it's a game where it's a lose-lose situation, really, for the referee.
FA Cup, luck ran out for both Lincoln City and Millwall. Well, actually not really, because...
I was going to say.
Nothing to do with it, really, was it? Arsenal 5, Lincoln 0, but... let's just salute that. Anthony Taylor was refereeing, did a good job by all accounts. Let's just salute Lincoln City again.
Well, Lincoln and Millwall, they've got there. And to be fair, I think they've gone and enjoyed the day. Certainly Lincoln. I mean, the management, the players, the staff, everybody who travelled down. I think they took something like 9,000 down or something.
Amazing.
It was a crazy amount. They only get 6,000 at home on a good day. 9,000 supported the team, went down there, pretty much knowing the outcome. Albeit not on the price that they paid, but
let's hope to see them back.
A great FA Cup run that we like to see.
And back in the National Football League next season.
Yeah, I mean that it's the FA Cup, isn't it? This is what you want from the FA Cup, and they delivered it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you imagine the view of a player going onto the Arsenal football ground, he probably never thought that he would ever have that opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think the two managers have been really articulate, have voiced and said things which are terrific. And I thought it was also good in a week when Wenger has had a lot of stick from his own supporters, that I hear that he spent an hour with those guys in his dressing room, in his room, after the match,
quality, isn't it?
which I think is absolute quality and typical of Wenger. The Wenger that his own fans don't see. The guy who does communicate, is articulate, and has done a fantastic job for Arsenal. I mean, I just find it incredible that he's criticised for a team that's in a high position in the Premier League.
Consistently, every year.
I think one of the quotes off the lads, the Lincoln lads, before the game said, Arsene Wenger, to be stood on the touchline alongside Arsene Wenger, he's forgot more about football than I'll ever know.
Great quote.
I thought that was a fantastic quote by the kid. And just touching on the Arsenal scenario, that statement itself, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, they haven't won this, they haven't won that. So have a lot of other managers.
Well, let's
and
not
they've not been in
overlook.
the Champions League for all the 20 years that he's been there.
Let's not overlook the services provided English football over 2 decades for sheer entertainment.
Yeah.
For the quality he's produced. It's just, I agree with you guys. I find it just remarkable the amount of stick he gets.
Yeah.
Fans want to win things.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Yeah. Fortunately, he has won things, just not the main title.
No.
And then the Champions League and such. So that's where the problem starts for him. But I mean, any chairman, any other club, any other supporters would take that situation that Arsenal have been in over 20 years.
All right. Well, just to wrap up the FA Cup, Mike Dean, Middlesbrough 0, Manchester City 2. I know you're glad to see Mike Dean back in the big time, as it were, with the big teams.
Well, I think the PGMOL need Mike Dean more than Mike Dean needs them. And I think the reality is he is a top-class referee. His form did dip. He wasn't helped by the management of PGMOL. They should have taken him off the games and given him a period. They've done that now, in a quiet period, in fairness. And, he's just a quality referee.
Okay, and Andre Marriner, Hull 2, Swansea 1 with no major incidents in that one. Which brings us to that FA Cup tie involving Millwall. Spurs scoring 6-0 the victory. But the main talking point and subject of your Daily Telegraph column, Keith, the Millwall fans' racist chants aimed at the Asian player Son Heung-min. Clearly unacceptable. Martin Atkinson's in charge. He apparently didn't hear this going off. So,
do you know when you're in the middle, you hear the noise, you don't hear the individual comments. There's very little chance of a referee being able to pick up on that. If Martin, with his international experience, would have heard that, then he would have taken some form of action. The action that's open to him is to really pull the player to one side because he might be suffering and sort of call the captain in and say, look, just take care of him for a few minutes whilst I walk across the other side of the pitch and talk to the ground commander.
And if necessary, even threaten to stop the game.
I think that the process is clear, it's in place, and you could bring that into play if need be. Yeah. But I think it was sad. I think it was sad that there is a small minority at that particular club. We saw things before kick-off, apparently, flares thrown.
Millwall
you see
again.
Some photographs and you say, you don't need it.
No, Millwall again.
The club itself, I mean, I've refereed there. It's always, a good place to go.
Yeah.
And therefore, I'm always amazed that this small fraction damaged the image of the game.
And so say all of us.
Oh,
just briefly, Dave.
without a doubt. But I mean, does the referee want to make more of it? Does it get dealt with after the game, as it has been? If he starts doing things on that day, does it blow it up and it's sort of the idiots win, if you like?
Just time for the championship briefly. Sorry, Keith, just quickly. Yeah. 3 games to look at, really. Andy Madley, brother of Bobby, Wigan 0, Bristol City 1. A late goal came from a corner here. Now, it's clearly a wrong call because both the managers, even the winning manager, Lee Johnson, reckons it probably wasn't a corner. So that's unfortunate.
Corners are given by assistant referees invariably.
Yeah, okay. Enough said, but the whole officials take responsibility for it.
Yeah.
That's not a referee dodging the decision there, was it?
No.
Simon Hooper, Norwich 2, Blackburn 2. There was a sending off there, which, dangerous play. Dykes, I think it was. Alan Irvine, the caretaker manager of Norwich, didn't contest it. So, again, we think that's a good call. Aston Villa 2, Sheffield Wednesday 0. A disallowed goal for Wednesday there. Slight puzzle over it, David.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen just a still of the disallowed goal. I think Sam Winnall's in an offside position, doesn't touch the ball, which really he's not offside.
Okay.
So it could have been given.
Could have been given. Lee Probert, the referee, but the other big call, the one that aroused Carlos Carvalhal's anger and saw him dismissed from the touchline, was the Vincent Sasso sending off for a dangerous challenge as viewed by Probert. He miscontrols the ball and he hurtles into a 40-60 against him.
One fortunate thing about that, he didn't actually catch the kid seriously. It was a terrible lunge, a miscontrol, like you say. He's lunged from a distance. It's a straight red without a doubt.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he's out of control. We've talked about this on numerous occasions. Referees have got to outlaw that. They've got to take a firm line on it. Red card every day.
And how can a manager complain about that?
I don't know.
I think when he sees it again, he'll go, I probably made a mistake there.
Right. Okay, that wraps it up. That wraps up the Championship, the Premier League and the FA Cup. And despite referees having a good weekend, we have had plenty to talk about, and we like to talk about the good things, Keith.
Absolutely.
Do we not?
I mean, I think it's great. The referees have performed well this weekend. Good on them. Let's now take it into the Premier League next week.
Excellent. Thanks very much, guys. Thank you for your company. See you for another Ref Show in a week's time with a full Premier League programme. See you then.